In 2005, Indian cricket witnessed one of its most dramatic episodes, when a captain's choice for coach turned into his biggest nightmare. Sourav Ganguly, India's most successful captain, recommended Greg Chappell as coach. What could go wrong? Well, everything. During the Zimbabwe tour, things got ugly. Chappell, who Sehwag remembers mostly for his endlessly long team meetings, had other plans. While some played pool in their free time, bigger games were being played in the boardroom. Then came the bombshell, a leaked email from Chappell to BCCI criticizing players. It was like a corporate takeover, just with more cricket bats involved. The media circus that followed was unprecedented. Chappell's response? Let's just say his gestures to journalists weren't very coach-like. The dressing room became a battleground. Senior players watched as their captain was first stripped of leadership, then dropped from the team entirely. But like every good cricket story, there was a comeback. Ganguly returned to prove his worth, while Chappell's tenure ended after India's 2007 World Cup disaster. A reminder that in cricket, sometimes the biggest battles aren't fought on the field. And those team meetings? Legend says they're still going on somewhere. English cricket, where drama isn't just reserved for the Ashes. Meet Kevin Pietersen and Andrew Strauss, two men who turned the gentleman's game into a WhatsApp nightmare before WhatsApp was even popular. England vs South Africa, 2012. While most players were sending their mums cricket updates, KP was busy texting the South African players. Spoiler alert, he wasn't asking for batting tips. Strauss, the captain who ran England like a boarding school headmaster, discovered his star player was basically running a gossip column with the opposition. Talk about taking international relations too literally. The infamous Textgate scandal. KP's texts about Strauss were so spicy, they made English tea taste bland. Strauss later admitted he should have managed KP better. Yeah, and maybe the Titanic should have packed more lifeboats. Then came the IPL drama. KP wanted to play in India, while England wanted him to. Well, play for England. Shocking concept, really. Strauss was like a disapproving parent watching his kid choose TikTok over homework. Years later, Strauss admitted his mistakes, saying, I let KP be KP. Which is like saying, I let a bull loose in a china shop because I thought it needed exercise. Remember kids, in cricket, always check your text recipients twice. And maybe don't call your captain names in a group chat with the opposition. Some say English cricket hasn't seen such drama since their next batting collapse. Pakistani cricket, where drama isn't just reserved for their batting collapses. Today's episode, when Boom Boom Afridi met No Ball Amir. In 2010, Lord's Cricket Ground. Amir bowled 3 no balls so obvious, even the third umpire was wondering if he needed glasses. Spoiler alert, he didn't. It was spot fixing. Fast forward to 2016. Amir made his comeback, hoping everyone had developed cricket's favorite skill, selective amnesia. Everyone except Shahid Afridi, who apparently had the memory of an elephant with a grudge. Afridi, the man who never aged but never forgot either, wasn't having it. He basically said, in my days, we only fixed our hair, not matches. Poor Amir was like that kid trying to convince his dad he's changed after breaking the living room window. Everyone deserves a second chance, he said, probably while practicing his no balls at legal lengths this time.
You've had plenty of time to reflect on what lessons have you learned about it all?
The Pakistani dressing room became more awkward than a family dinner after someone mentions politics. Afridi giving Amir the look your mom gives when she isn't angry, just disappointed. Years later, they're still about as friendly as a cat and dog at a fish market. One preaching integrity, the other begging for forgiveness, basically your typical Pakistani cricket soap opera. Remember kids, in cricket, some no balls can cost you more than just 6 runs, they might cost you Shahid Afridi's friendship card. And they say Indian soap operas are dramatic. At least they don't have Afridi giving disapproving looks in HD. The IPL isn't just about cricket and entertainment. Sometimes it's about ego clashes and power struggles. In 2017, Glenn Maxwell and Virender Sehwag gave us exactly that at Kings 11 Punjab. Maxwell, the captain, wanted a modern approach, WhatsApp groups for team selection, coach involvement, collaborative decision-making. But Sehwag, the director of cricket operations, had other ideas. Then came the breaking point. Punjab got bundled out for 73 runs. What followed wasn't just a loss, but a public humiliation. Sehwag, the man known for his fearless batting, now unleashed his words. Called Maxwell, big disappointment, in front of the media. The captain's dignity? Left somewhere between the press room and the dressing room. Maxwell texted Sehwag about how much the public criticism hurt. Sehwag's reply? Short and sharp, don't need fan like you. No further discussion. No resolution. Just silence. To add insult to injury, Maxwell found himself removed from the team's WhatsApp group. Modern cricket, ancient politics. Maxwell later made it clear, if Sehwag stayed, he'd leave. Two strong personalities, two different approaches, one inevitable outcome. Years later, Maxwell revealed all this in his book, The Showman. Proving once again that in cricket, some of the biggest hits and misses happen off the field. Sometimes in the IPL, what happens in the WhatsApp group doesn't stay in the WhatsApp group. Cricket isn't just about what happens on the field. Sometimes, the real battles take place in the dressing room. Enter the story of Krunal Pandya and Deepak Hooda, a tale of power, ego, and breaking point. January 2021, Baroda cricket team's practice session. Krunal Pandya, the captain, and Deepak Hooda, a senior player. What should have been routine practice turned into a nightmare. Hooda, with permission from the head coach, was ready to practice, but Pandya had other ideas. Words were exchanged. Accusations flew. Bullying, dadagiri, abusive language, terms you'd expect in a street fight, not in professional cricket. Then came the bombshell. Hooda, feeling demoralized and depressed, did something unprecedented.
दीपक हुड्डा ने बड़ा फैसला लिया है. उन्होंने क्रिकेट छोड़ने का फैसला लिया है.
He packed his bags and left the team mid-tournament. His emotional email to the Cricket Association went viral. Cricket legends like Irfan Pathan spoke up. The message was clear: leadership comes with responsibility. Bullying has no place in cricket. The cricket world watched as both players moved on. Hooda found success with Lucknow Super Giants. Pandya continued with Mumbai Indians, but the scars remained. This wasn't just about two players. It was about power dynamics, mental health, and the fine line between aggression and intimidation in cricket. Sometimes in cricket, the biggest victories aren't about runs or wickets. They're about standing up for yourself, even if it means walking away from the game you love. The 2008 IPL wasn't just about cricket and glamour. It gave us one of the most controversial moments in Indian cricket, the infamous slap that shook the nation. Kings 11 Punjab had just defeated Mumbai Indians by 66 runs. The match was over, but the real drama was about to begin. During what should have been a routine post-match handshake, Harbhajan Singh did the unthinkable. He slapped his Indian teammate Sreesanth. Yes, you heard that right, a full-on slap. What followed was pure chaos. Sreesanth, known for his emotions, broke down on national television. There he was, an international cricketer, crying in front of thousands of fans. Mumbai lost the match, but cricket lost its dignity that day. The BCCI acted swiftly. Harbhajan got a 5-match ban. The Turbinator's aggression, usually reserved for opponents, had finally crossed a line with his own countryman. The Indian dressing room was never the same. Two players who once shared the joy of India's victories now couldn't even look at each other. Team meetings became exercises in awkward silence. Years later, Harbhajan admitted his mistake. Srisand, surprisingly, forgave him. They even hugged it out eventually. Cricket has seen many fights, but nothing quite like this. A slap that echoed from Mohali to Mumbai, reminding us that sometimes the biggest battles are unfought with bat and ball. The Slapgate scandal remains a dark reminder that even in a gentleman's game, tempers can turn teammates into rivals. The 2008 Sydney Test, where cricket decided to become a soap opera, starring two unlikely leads, Harbhajan Singh and Andrew Symonds. Picture this: Harbhajan, our Turbinator, hits a boundary off Bradley and gives him a friendly pat. Sweet moment, right? Well, Symonds, sporting his iconic dreadlocks, wasn't having any of this love fest. What followed was cricket's version of a schoolyard spat. Symonds claimed Harbhajan called him a monkey. Harbhajan probably wished he just stuck to calling him a mate like every other Aussie. Then came the hearing, more dramatic than an Indian TV serial. Harbhajan got banned for 3 matches. The BCCI was like, oh hell no, and threatened to take their bat and ball and go home. Literally. But wait, here's the plot twist. Few years later, these two end up as teammates at Mumbai Indians. Talk about awkward team meetings. It's like finding out your ex is now your new roommate. Finally, Harbhajan apologized to Symonds. They hugged it out, probably the most uncomfortable hug in cricket history since Glenn McGrath tried to hug Ramiz Raja. And that, folks, is how cricket turned into a Bollywood meets home and away crossover episode. Remember, in cricket, what happens in the middle ends up in someone's autobiography anyway. Some say to this day, whenever these two meet at cricket functions, they just awkwardly nod and sprint in opposite directions. Cricket, the gift that keeps on giving. Australian cricket, where mateship means sharing beers, victories, and occasionally, throat grabs. The 2009 SCG dressing room saw what we'll call a minor disagreement. Clarke, probably thinking he had a hot date, wanted to rush the team song, called Katich a weak, bad move, mate, really bad move. Katich, showing his opening batsman's grip technique, decided Clarke's throat was the perfect batting practice. By 2011, shockingly, Katich lost his Cricket Australia contract. Clarke swears he fought for him, probably the same way he fought in that dressing room scuffle. Clarke's autobiography later spilled all the tea. Turns out those smiling team photos were about as real as Shane Warne's original hair. Remember, in cricket, when they say it's all about the grip, they usually mean on the bat, not your teammate's throat. They were two of Australia's greatest cricketers. Shane Warne and Steve Waugh, legends who shared dressing rooms for a decade. But beneath the baggy green caps lay one of cricket's most bitter rivalries. The turning point came in 1999. Steve Waugh, as captain, made a decision that would change their relationship forever. In a crucial test against West Indies, Waugh dropped Warne from the team, the first time the leg spinner had ever been left out of the Australian Test side when fit. That decision sparked a feud that would last decades. Warne later wrote in his autobiography, "Steve was the most selfish player I ever played with and was only worried about averaging 50. Despite their personal tension, they continued playing together, winning matches for Australia. But the chemistry was gone. Team photos showed them at opposite ends. Celebrations became noticeably distant. The animosity only grew after retirement. Warne repeatedly criticized Waugh's captaincy style. He was more focused on being known as a tough guy. "I always believed wins and losses were what counted, not the way you looked." Waugh remained characteristically stoic, but the rift was clear. 20 years after that West Indies decision, they still barely speak. In commentary boxes and cricket functions, they maintain their distance. The feud has outlasted their playing careers, their captaincy days, and even their time as teammates. Two legends of Australian cricket, united by the baggy green but divided by personality and perspective.
Cricket has seen many compelling stories, but few as complex as that of Murali Vijay and Dinesh Karthik. Once inseparable friends and Tamil Nadu teammates, their relationship would face an unprecedented test.
When did I meet you first actually? Honestly, I genuinely am trying.
In the early 2000s, they shared dressing rooms and dreams, both rising stars of Indian cricket. But their friendship would be severely tested by personal circumstances. A deep personal betrayal emerged when Vijay began a relationship with Karthik's then wife Nikita. The cricket community watched as their once strong friendship crumbled. Eventually, Vijay and Nikita married, leaving Karthik to rebuild his life. Their encounters on the cricket field became notably tense. Team meetings and matches required careful management of their presence. Life had other plans. While Karthik found happiness again with squash player Deepika Pallikal, both cricketers carved distinct paths, Karthik as a formidable finisher, Vijay in Test cricket. Their story reminds us that cricket, like life, often writes its own complex narratives.